Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart briefly and then look at the Cardano chart. And tomorrow, big day for Cardano. Tomorrow, the ISO starts for, so the initial stake pool offering starts for Sunday swap. And hopefully I have the time later today to do a video about how where I move my ADA to, because I want to participate in the stake pool offering. And so far I've been staking with some of the Ray tools, Ray Network, which is also a decentralized exchange or even a small ecosystem on the Cardano blockchain. And I'm quite pleased with that. But now I think with the potential that Sunday Swap offers, I want to participate in that as well. And then I'll tell you how to do that in a video later. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you want me to do that. And overall, the market down a little bit, not really moved since my last video yesterday. There was a bit of up and down. Are there any clear winners today? I mean, Cardano down, profit taking going on. We can take a look at that. Theta going well. Ethereum Classic. Wow, okay. Ethereum Classic, Theta, Stacks. Yeah, Stacks, I think, very strong in 2022. I made a video on that and talked about it in the member live stream. The potential I see for Stacks, which is good. Engine a little bit, but nothing really too significant here. All right, let's go and take a look at Bitcoin. Yesterday I showed you here that descending wedge and said that with a descending wedge, typically you would expect a breakout more likely than not. Now this happened, however, we don't really see too much volume. What you want to see in a descending wedge breakout is volume. Now the volume is minimal for Bitcoin. Yeah, it did go up a little bit here when it broke out, but I wouldn't consider that a volume confirmation. Now what's interesting though is that there was the breakout of the descending wedge, and typically with a descending wedge you get a roughly 70% chance that it actually breaks to the upside and 30% chance that it breaks to the downside. So you never really know until the breakout actually happens. It's a bit difficult because we are in this range. I did mention that yesterday, that within a range, there isn't a lot of volume at the moment anyway. We're in a wave 4. It's a bit difficult, a bit complicated, a bit long. That wave 4 here, that previous wave 4 that we had here, which was even a smaller degree wave 4. There you go. From down there, to the wave 4. I mean, it took from the 4th of December till the 27th of December. So, as I said, this could become a longer sideways movement here between 39.5, that lower, the wick here, and 40,000 US dollars. We broke out, but pretty much we're just moving sideways. What it did, it broke out, came up, retests now the former resistance as support, which might be a good sign. So we just need to see what is the price actually doing. Is it going to continue sideways? Is it going up, down? In the moment, in a range, you never really know. You know that my primary expectation is generally that the market is going to sell off and is going to go down. I would personally think we're going to attempt once more to get in here and possibly even reach here the 47k. That would actually be my ideal scenario, where you come up, reach this 47k, which would be the ideal retracement level for a wave 4. It has already come back to a minimum requirement, but it could even go higher to the ideal level, which is at around 47.1k, I think. And then from there it could go down. That would be what I prefer. But it could theoretically be that we're now rolling over and just sell off straight away, which also has some advantages. For example, the whole sell-off and correction will continue much faster. And then we could go into the range between 20 and 29k. I know a lot of other people expect a 37 to 38k Bitcoin before it turns around. Now, don't think so. I do expect further and lower prices, especially not only looking at the Elliott Waves and the price targets for them, but also here the head and shoulders pattern that we have on the chart that I talked about before. And I think we have seen the break of the neckline, saw a sell-off from there, and now we are just hovering around, possibly retesting here that former neckline here as resistance, and will then sell off. And that price target of that head and shoulders, if we just take the height here, that would even be, you know, towards the minimum of my target area, to yeah, around 21k. So, you know, I think the chart doesn't look bullish. You know, we broke below the EMA ribbon. I talked about that. Even here on the 8-hour chart now, for example, the MACD is now turning bearish as well. We've got a bearish crossover, actually all pointing towards further sell-offs. You know, even here the daily MACD is losing buying pressure. So you can see that here. And you know that the weekly RSI, anyway, the weekly MACD anyway is pointing, which is very meaningful, is pointing towards further sell-offs as well. We've only recently crossed the 0 line, and then what really scares me, and not many people talk about it, is the monthly MACD. When you really, and it's at a tipping point here, but when you see a monthly MACD bearish crossover, that could lead to a new low. It definitely could. Okay, so looking at Cardano, Cardano is doing something interesting. With Cardano, obviously after our correction here all the way down, we bottomed out here for now at $1.07. We started here what looks currently like an impulse, you know, in a 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 up. We briefly broke above that descending trend line, which is quite important in my view. You know, that descending trend line has pushed the price down a few times. There was a fake out here in that wave X that was pushed down, and now again the price couldn't get through here. Now the current, in my view, the current move up here is very important for Cardano, because it just allows Cardano to have that buffer before it goes down to $1. You know, if Bitcoin really does that sell-off, Cardano with that space between the dollar and where it's now might actually be able to hold above $1. I think that would be very important. What it's doing now is, as I said, a potential impulse here to the upside with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. That could be the first sign of a beginning of an uptrend, but again, only a first sign. We could interpret what we had here, that was around end of the year, where we also moved up. We could interpret that as an impulse as well. And here we moved all the way to 160, yeah. But we could not get through the 50-day moving average. Now this time we could, and we actually retested that as support. We didn't come down directly to the 50-day moving average, but as I said in the last video, we've got this ascending trend line here, and I would consider that level here at around 139, 138 as very important support, you know. And if you lose that level, then it could be that yeah, that immediate uptrend is over. Looking at the Elliott Waves, I told you yesterday we should not get below 136, because then you interfere with the price target area of the wave 1. Now it didn't come down that far. What it actually did, and I really find that very interesting, on the 1-hour chart we see that we're doing here an ABC correction as it seems, and the good news is if you see that ABC, then you can be certain that the C correction will be over here at some point, and possible, I mean, maybe it has finished it already, yeah. The idea is that the wave C needs to come below the wave A, and it did that. Possible support for that is that ascending trend line, yeah, which would be at 138. We could even come down to here 135, but then you drop below the target area of wave 1. Therefore, I think that 136 level is a very important support. So even if we break briefly below that ascending trend line, 136 needs to hold, or that might just be here a wave 1, a wave 2. That could then be another wave 1 and a wave 2. What I don't really like is that the downtrend here is looking quite strong. Yeah, definitely worth keeping an eye on. This here looked much nicer. Yeah, move up, correction. Now move up, and quite a strong correction. Didn't really, not ideal, I must say. But let's take a look. If this is an ABC, we're coming close to the end of the correction, I think. And if this is a wave 4, it has come down lower than it normally ideally would anyway. And looking at the fib levels for that wave 4, start at the low of the wave 2, go to the top of the wave 3. The ideal level for a correction would be 138. I mean, normally for a wave 4, you wouldn't expect the price to come down lower necessarily than 148, the 0.382 fib level. Well, it did that. that's why now, as we broke the 0.5 fib level at 143, I think 138, which is pretty much the level that I gave you, just the ascending trend line, would be the ideal level. 138, the 0.618 fib level. If it drops lower than that, that immediate uptrend is certainly in danger. The good news is now, in the next move up, the price could possibly here get to the 200-day line, to 181, 182. Up there we've also got, at 181, we've got a very important Fibonacci retracement level of the previous wave 1. So it's not all lost, just because the price is going down. It's, I think, because of an ABC. And now we just need to see what the price is doing when it hits here the support. It hasn't even reached the ascending trend line. It hasn't even reached the 50-day moving average. It hasn't even reached the 0.618 fib level at 138. Overall, good news here on the 1 hour chart again. But you remember yesterday I told you, before the correction started, I told you that we had here a bearish divergence on the 1 hour chart. That the 1 hour chart of course is not too meaningful, but if you see a bearish divergence also on the 1 hour chart, it could mean that the correction is coming, and then it did come. What we see now is a potential bullish divergence here. So you have a higher low on the RSI and a lower low on the price. So that could again indicate that we now see a reversal to the other side, where we could move up again. And that's about ADA at the moment. So gave you the key support and resistance levels, and gave you here that indicator with that bullish divergence on the 1 hour chart. I think that is interesting, and today the price or the chart could decide if we continue to move further up or if we continue to move down here. Let's take a look at the ADA BTC chart, and to be honest, at the moment it's sort of not too meaningful what Cardano is doing. The higher the better, I think, for a potential buffer, before Cardano could reach $1, and the probability that Cardano is dropping below $1 is not significantly lower now, I think, just because a bit higher, yes, but from a technical point of view, it could still very easily drop below $1, unfortunately. If I look at what Bitcoin could do from 140 to $1 for Cardano, I think it is certainly still possible, It is certainly still possible. Looking at ADA BTC, we've seen that impressive move up here and that impressive turnaround, and now I think it's retracing on ADA BTC. It couldn't get through the 200-day moving average, but it was quite a bit of a move up here. On the daily we were overbought. That is why that retracing is now coming, and we are taking a look here at the fibs. So, and there you can see that the price is on its way down to the 0.5 fib level. That I would expect that is the next support at 3278. That's also here previous high, so I would expect to get some support. If it loses that, it could even drop down to the 0.618 at 3134, but from there it would then still be in an uptrend. I think these two levels are key support levels. If it drops below that, we're pretty much back in the range here. So it needs to stay above 3134, I think, to continue its uptrend here. A retracement is normal now on the ADA BTC because the price was overbought on the daily and on the 8-hour chart, and therefore it has just to do a bit of a retracement. However, that retracement is again quite strong, as we could see it in the ADA USD chart, stronger than I'd like it to be. But let's see how that continues. I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update about Bitcoin and Cardano. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.